Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, cookie fatally shot by police in St. Elizabeth. One man was shot and killed during a police confrontation in St. Elizabeth on Tuesday. Police say about 5:15 a.m., a team carried out an intelligence-led operation in Cambridge, St. Elizabeth, in search of George Griffiths, also called a Cookie, and during the confrontation, the man was shot and injured. He was reportedly rushed to the Black River Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The lawmen claim one Smith & Wesson firearm was recovered. Griffiths had been charged with illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition in April 2020. A Taurus 9mm pistol had allegedly been retrieved from under the driver's seat of a Toyota Noah he was driving. He was sentenced and then appealed the case. He had also been charged with assault occasioning bodily harm in 2017. JDF soldier arrested in St. Elizabeth gun seizure. A member of the Jamaica Defense Force was arrested in St. Elizabeth following the alleged discovery of an illegal gun. Police were conducting operations in the parish on Tuesday when about 1:20 a.m. in the Breeze River area, a black Toyota Voxy vehicle was searched and reportedly found to contain one firearm, a Smith & Wesson Springfield 9mm pistol. The serial number had been tampered with, and the gun was fitted with a magazine containing one live cartridge, police said. The driver was arrested and taken into custody, and the vehicle also seized. Cops urge bar owners to use trackers in poker boxes. Police are urging bar owners to employ the use of technology in securing their gaming machines from thieves. The cops particularly recommend the use of tracking devices in the poker boxes. It follows the arrest and the charge of 38-year-old McCoy Rowe, a former of Top Hill, St. Elizabeth. Rowe is accused of a break-in and larceny committed sometime between 11:30 p.m. Friday, April 4, 2025 and 2 a.m. Saturday, April 5, 2025 at Mums's Bar in Barbary Hall in the parish. Body of Clarendon man found following fire at his home. The Mocha police in Clarendon are investigating the death of a man whose body was found following a fire at his home in Goshen. He has been identified as 56-year-old Sylvus Rotary. It is reported that on Monday afternoon, fire was seen at Rotary's house, which is located in Old Road. The police and the fire department were called to the scene. After the blaze was extinguished, the man's body was found among the rubble. The cause of the fire is unknown. Manchester engineer charged after pulling licensed firearm on man. A Manchester engineer has been charged after he allegedly pulled his licensed firearm on a man during an argument at a beach club in Whitehouse, Westmoreland on Sunday. 47-year-old Richard Elliott of a Mandeville address is charged with assault at common law and using a firearm to commit a felony. The White House police say about 12:30 p.m., Elliott and the man were involved in an argument during which Elliott pushed him, pulled his Glock pistol from his waistband, and pointed it at the complainant. A report of the incident was made to the police, and Elliott was arrested after turning himself in on Monday. The police say his court date is being finalized. Disgruntled JLP workers protest Western Westmoreland selection results. Placard-bearing Jamaica Labour Party workers staged a protest this morning against the results of Sunday's internal selection process, in which incumbent Member of Parliament Morland Wilson lost to Dr. Garfield James, counsel for the Sheffield division in his constituency. The protesters gathered outside Wilson's constituency office in Mango Hall near Little London to express their disapproval of James. "We are here because we are demonstrating, because in Western Westmoreland we don't want Mr. Garfield James. If it's not Mr. Morland Wilson, we are not voting, we are not working," said a female protester armed with a placard who was clad in a green shirt bearing the image of Wilson. She warned that if the party does not allow Wilson to contest the seat in the next general election, workers will give their vote to the opposition People's National Party candidate, Ian Hales. The seat is going to go independent or nothing at all. We will all take our vote to the other side. And we have told Dr. Harris Jang this before. We have told the Prime Minister, and we are very serious about it, the disgruntled JLP supporter insisted. Chang is the party's general secretary, while Hones serves as the leader of the JLP. Mr. James did not even win Sheffield, and that's the division he's responsible for. And we all know that if the Prime Minister doesn't win his seat, he doesn't have any say, she added, arguing that James only won the division by 1 vote. James crossed the floor of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation in 2023, leaving the PNP to join the JLP. Another dissatisfied female worker claimed that Wilson had been treated unfairly and stated that she and others are not prepared to work with James. "We're not working with Mr. James. He came with an agenda to mash up the party. He came and has been working against us," she declared. On Sunday, the JLP Secretariat announced its intentions to refer James to its selection committee and the Central Executive as the party's candidate for Western Westmoreland. Chang expressed the confidence that unity would prevail among JLP members in the constituency following this selection exercise. He also reaffirmed his faith in the party's candidate selection process, noting that it gives party workers and the delegates an opportunity to have their voices heard. That process, he said, involved a constituency audit, polling consultation with workers and the delegates, and a final selection exercise. Cops in Maria Dean trial ignored the prisoner's calls for help, witness testifies. A former inmate of the Barnett Street Police Station lockup, where Maria Dean was beaten on August 3, 2014, today told the Westmoreland Circuit Court that the 3 police personnel charged with Dean's death ignored alarms raised by other prisoners when violence erupted at the cell block on that day. The witness, who began his evidence in chief on Monday and who is currently in police custody, said that the incident happened after the defendants, Corporal Elaine Stewart and the constables Juliana Cleavon and Marlon Grant, put a new prisoner in a cell with several inmates of unsound mind. According to the witness, the new prisoner, who he did not identify by name, was previously in a different cell because the defendants removed him to process his bail. However, a short while later, the defendants brought the prisoner back to the cell block while accusing him of disrespecting them. The witness further testified that the prisoner was placed in a cell shared by 3 mentally ill inmates. Shortly after, the witness and his cellmates heard sounds of fighting in that cell, but when they tried to raise an alarm, the defendants rebuffed them. The trial is currently still ongoing. Stewart, Cleavon, and Grant are charged with manslaughter and misconduct in a public office arising from Dean's death on August 6, 2014, 3 days after he was beaten while in custody at the Barnett Street lockup for possession of a ganja spliff. Stewart is also charged with perverting the course of justice under allegations that she ordered the cleaning of the cell where Dean was beaten prior to the arrival of investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations. Vaz speaks out against the PPV operators overcharging passengers. Minister of Transport Darrell Vaz says there are no approved increases in taxi fares at this time, following reports that some public passenger operators have raised their fares. The practice of increasing fares without being prescribed by the minister is illegal. The Transport Authority has received numerous complaints of this practice among hackney carriage operators and route taxi operators, he said. According to Vaz, some hackney carriage operators who provide route taxi services have opted to divide the fare among the number of passengers carried, resulting in a fare increase for commuters. To correct this, the Transport Authority, based on a non-objection letter from the JUTC, will make available 23 new routes in the Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region for the hackney carriage operators to transition. This will allow for the attachment of an approved fare structure, which will be strictly enforced by the police and the transport authority, he explained. He noted that overcharging by route taxi operators mainly occurs when passengers request the drivers to take alternative routes, a situation he said is currently unregulated. This matter will be discussed at the public transport meeting today, and we will introduce regulations to correct this situation, he said. In October 2023, the government announced a 35% fare hike to be introduced in two tranches, 19% at the time of the announcement and 16% in April 2024. However, only the first phase was implemented, as concerns grew over the potential impact of higher fares amid already elevated inflation. Following discussions between the government officials and the Transport Association leaders, it was agreed that the second phase would be deferred and revisited in the next fiscal year. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.